Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. أشهد أن محمدا رسول الله. حي الله صلاة. حي الله صلاة. حي الله صلاة. حي الله صلاة. الله أكبر، الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين. نستعينه ونستغفره ونؤمن به عز وجل، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له، وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. أما بعد، أيها المسلمين. With Allah's name, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer, praise be to Allah, the guardian, evolver, cherisher, sustainer of all the worlds. Praise be to Allah, the guardian, evolver, cherisher, sustainer of all the systems of knowledge. And we praise Allah over and over again. We seek Allah's aid. We pray for His forgiveness. We put our complete and total trust in Allah. Highly glorified as Allah above all things. I openly bear witness that there is nothing that deserves worship except Allah, who is one and alone. He has no partner. He has no associate. He is totally independent of everything, but everything and everyone depends upon Allah. I also bear witness that Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, to whom the Quran was revealed, is the seal of the prophets, a guide to all of humanity for all time, and that he is the most excellent human being. We are thankful to Allah that He has blessed us to be here for another Jumu'ah, and we are grateful to Allah that He has made us Muslims. من يهد الله فهو المهتدي ومن يضلل فلا هادي له. He whom Allah guides, they are the rightly guided. And he whom Allah leads to stray, for them they will not find their way. And I greet you with the greetings of peace of As-salam alaikum. And that's the best greeting that we can give, unless we add wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh wa maghfiratuh. Allah's blessings and mercy and His forgiveness. So we are grateful to Allah that He has blessed us to be at another Jumu'ah, and we are grateful to Allah that He has blessed us to be Muslim, and we're grateful to Allah that He has blessed us to be here in America. We're grateful for all of those things, and we're grateful for the weather, even though the weather has been changing back and forth. There's one thing when you reflect on the way the weather has been. One day it's been like 60 degrees, and the next day it's been like below freezing, and then the next day it's 60 degrees again. You know, it's an easy time to get sick, you know. But when you reflect on the way the weather has been, it just shows you Allah's in control. Allah's in control. You know, the weather is like the night and the day. And Allah can make it nice one day and bad, and what we perceive as bad another day. So it makes you realize that Allah's in control. Allah's in control of everything. You know, it's unfortunate And Allah who knows best that in California, in the past month, maybe just like a month ago, they had all those fires, all those serious fires. And now that would have been a time when it would have been good for it to rain, but Allah didn't see fit. So now it's raining, and now they had some mudslides, and Allahu Akbar. And a lot of people have been touched by that. And we pray that Allah have mercy on all those innocent people who have lost their lives and lost their homes. And even Oprah Winfrey's house got messed up. So Allah just showed you He's in control. We don't know where we're going to be tomorrow. We don't know what our situation is going to be. We have to depend on Allah. So this is the reality of how our life is. We don't know what Allah says in the Quran. No man knows what he's going to get on tomorrow. Nobody knows that. We don't know. We don't know why things happen. But Allah is in control. So we should be grateful to Allah, and we should take heed and know that this life that Allah gives us, we just have to live this life. But we have to be prepared for whatever comes, and we have to be prepared for a day when somebody's going to wrap our body and put us in a 6-foot hole. So we have to be prepared for that. We have to prepare for that. And the only way you can prepare for that is by being obedient to Allah. Is by being obedient to Allah. And that's the greatest thing we can do, is to remember Allah and to be obedient to Allah. And that's the purpose of this whole life, is obedience to Allah. We get distracted by a lot of things. We get distracted by our jobs. Sometimes we can get distracted by our families. We can get distracted by, sometimes we can get distracted by wealth or the lack of wealth. We can get distracted by those things. But the most important thing is we as Muslims, we have to remember is to keep our life focused on Allah. That's the most important thing, to keep your life focused on Allah. That doesn't say that it's going to be easy. And that doesn't say that if we say that we're Muslims, that we're not going to be tested and we're not going to be tried. Because Allah also says in the Quran, don't believe that you're going to say you're a believer in this world and not be tested. And we know that sometimes Allah tests us with ease. Ease is a test. When things are going easy for you, that's a test. And when things are going hard for you, that's a test. And sometimes the hard test is easier than the easy test. Because when the things are hard, you cry out, oh Allah, when are you going to help me? When are you going to bring me up out of this condition? And you get close to Allah. But sometimes when it's easy, you forget Allah. You think it's your own, you think it comes from your own self. But everything that we have, everything we're going to ever have, is all from Allah. And all the hands of Shaitan. So it's very important for us to know that as Muslims, is not to get distracted by this life. And Allah says in the Quran, in Surah Al-Takathur, He says, Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Al-Hakum Muttakathur. Hatta Zotumul Maqabir. Kalla Sawfa Ta'lamun. Thumma Kalla Sawfa Ta'lamun. Kalla Law Ta'lamun Ilmal Yaqeen. Latarawunna Al-Jaheen. Thumma Latarawunnaha Ayn Al-Yaqeen. ثُمَّ لَا تُسْأَلُونَ يَوْمَئِذٍ عَنِ النَّعِيمِ. And it's translated says, the mutual rivalry of piling up the good things of this life, it diverts you from the more serious things until you visit the grave. And then you will certainly see hellfire. You will see it with certainty of sight. And again, you will see it and you shall know. Nay, were you to know with certainty of mind, you would beware. You shall certainly see hellfire. And again, you shall certainly see it with certainty of sight. Then shall that day you be questioned about the joy that you indulged in. So Allah is reminding us in the Quran, He reminds us that this life is a diversion. This life that we live, this world that has been established, and sometimes re-established by Shaitan, we know how, and we really reflect on how the Shaitan has changed the culture. How Satan changes things. Satan turns everything around. He takes everything out of its natural context. He takes us away from the way things are meant to be. And we know that we live in an environment as believers in God, that every human being, they come here fresh with a clean slate. Every human being comes here fresh with a clean slate. Every human being comes here perfect until he comes under the influence of the shaitan. And we know that we are told, and we were taught by our leader, Imam W.D. Muhammad, that we have to work against the schemes of Satan. Because he's a real entity. He's real. Or sometimes she's real, depending on how you come. Sometimes the shaitan can come in a female form, and sometimes the shaitan can come in a male form. And sometimes shaitan come right up in here, right up in your own house. So we have to constantly guard against this. So Allah, again, he says the mutual rivalry for fact. And see, it's good that it's beautiful the way that it's put, is translated here, so we can get understanding. And you know, brothers and sisters, it's important that everything that we know of the Quran, we should try to really understand. Because it's not acceptable to recite the Quran and not to know its meaning. It's unacceptable. And if we are to really get the real benefit of the Quran, then we should understand. Because it's so strong that the people during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, sometimes they heard the Quran, just words from the Quran, and it changed their whole life. It changed their whole life. And we know that we have as an example, Umar, may Allah be pleased with him. And it said of Umar that if there had been a prophet after Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that Umar would have been a prophet. But Umar was one time one of the worst enemies to Islam. But just upon him hearing the Quran, it changed his life instantaneously. So it shows you the importance of us really trying to understand and know the Quran. So, and we know, and we've said this before, we know people who know the Quran. I had a brother who tell me, one of a dear friend of mine, immigrant brother, who told me, he said when he was coming up, he learned the Quran. He learned the Quran. And he said, but it wasn't until he married an African American sister, and she asked him at the time, what is that you're saying when you be praying? And he didn't know. He was unable to say, this is what he told me. So I'm sharing this with y'all to show you the importance of it. He said he didn't know what he was saying. He said, but it wasn't until he started going to the Quran in the English translation where he began to understand the Quran, and that changed his life. So consequently, he bettered his life, and his wife, who was a non-Muslim, she eventually became a Muslim, and she's a Muslim today. So it shows you the importance of us knowing the Quran, not just reciting it. Because the Quran is a beautiful recitation. But unless we understand, unless we have understanding of the Quran, then we get no benefit. It's like you listen to somebody speak Chinese, you say, you know, that's, I guess it's Chinese, it might be Japanese, it might be Chinese, I don't know what it is. And you hear it, you have no understanding the Quran, the Arabic, because the Quran is the same way. So if we are making our prayers and we're not understanding what we're saying, then we are not benefited from it. So we as a group of people, we really need to, you know the remarkable thing about Muslims? This is remarkable, that every Muslim is obligated to know the religion. Every Muslim is obligated to know the religion. You know, there's no priesthood in Islam. There's no priesthood in Islam. If I got sick right now, hopefully one of you brothers will resuscitate me, take me outside, and one of the brothers, hopefully on the front row, will get up here and continue on with the Khutbah. Because the show must go on. And that's how our religion is. And that's why it's incumbent of each and every one of us to know our religion. You know, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said, one learned Muslim is harder on shaitan than 1,000 ignorant worshippers. So we encourage not to be ignorant. We encourage to be knowledgeable. We encourage to engage our intellect. And this is the beauty of the Quran, that it engages our intellect. So Allah says again, he said, the mutual rivalry of talent of the good things of this life, of this world, diverts you from the more serious things, until you visit the graves. But soon you shall know the reality. So Allah is telling us that we're gonna, the grave is a place that's coming. And look at the mercy of Allah. Nobody knows when they're gonna die. Nobody knows when you're gonna die. Can you imagine the psychological effect that it would have on you, knowing that next Thursday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm checking out of here. I mean, that was just like, Ooh, man, you be trying to get so much stuff done. And that would get you hung up. You say, man, I gotta do this, I gotta go see my mom, I gotta go see my children, I ain't seen in a while time. I gotta pay this brother back that $500 I owe him. I gotta do this, I gotta do that. Because next Thursday I ain't gonna be here. And then, man, well next Thursday, I gotta prepare my funeral, and I hope that they'll say something good about me, and I hope they'll give me a nice little saying, you be saying, but Allah has burdened you like that. Allah has not burdened us like that. Because that would be a burden. Psychologically, that would just be a burden on you. But Allah is so merciful that you don't know when you're going to go. But He tell you got to prepare, right? And the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he said to live as though you're going to live forever, but live as though you're going to die tomorrow. Isn't that the balance? I'm gonna live forever, knowing that that's not the case. And I'm hitting 60 hard. Just turned 59. So I know I won't have another 30 years. I might get lucky. I know I won't have another 60 years. I'm on the downstroke. I'm on the other side. I'm on the other side. But the person who's 20, I might outlive them. They might die tomorrow. So we don't know. So Allah tells us, He said, until you visit the grave. But then you shall know the reality. And a lot of times, the prophet, he taught us to remember the grave. Remember the grave. Because you get distracted with this life. He says to remember the grave. And again, you shall know. And then Allah says, He says, you're going to see. It's going to be clear to you. That when it's all said and done, and they wrap you up, and you can hear, when they wrapping your body, and you can hear the brothers talking, say, oh man, brother so-and-so, he was a good brother, man. That was my brother, man. He was so charitable. And you laying there can't do nothing. They gotta clean your poo-poo off you. And they're gonna wrap you, and they're not gonna look at your private parts. And when they clean, they gotta reach up under the cover and clean everything. That's coming to all of us. Inshallah. Because that's an honor. It's an honor to be buried like that. So when that day comes, you're gonna be laying there. And you're gonna be hearing the brothers talking to you and say, man, put this, these are like this, they just a must. Rub this on his head, rub this in his beard, comb his beard. And don't let the water be too hot, because he can feel it. Or don't let the water be too cold. That time is coming. Remember to braid her hair a certain way. The sister's gonna be braiding your hair. And you're gonna be saying, you ain't gonna be able to say thank you. You ain't gonna be able to say thank you. But that's a reality, this coming. So Allah says you'll see with certainty of fight. Certainty of clear with ilm al-yaqeen. It said you shall certainly see hellfire. Now we learned that inshallah, we already know Allah just said. Everybody in here gonna see hellfire. That's the reality. You're gonna see it. You're gonna see hellfire. And it's reported that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that one time he was in ruku. It said that he was in ruku, and Allah showed him hellfire. And I told y'all this before. And then he was in ruku and saw hellfire. He did like this. He backed up. This was the Prophet. So it says, Allah says, we will certainly see hellfire. And we know that we learned from the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. It said that when you die and you cross that bridge, it's the sirat. It says razor sharp. It says some people, they'll go off, they'll go across and won't get even scared. They won't even feel it. They'll just go across it. And some people, they'll feel it, the sharpness of it. And says some people, they'll teeter and they'll feel like they're going to fall in, but they'll make it. And then some people won't make it in. They'll fall into the hellfire. So all these things are reality. So why not? Today's topic is, inshallah, and I didn't tell y'all this in the beginning. Today's topic is building community life. So I'm trying to, inshallah, unless we have understanding of how important this life is, then we can't build up our community, right? And it's very unfortunate that a lot of times the foundation that we have is the shaky foundation. The Prophet Muhammad, he said, Buni al-Islam ala khamsin, that the religion of Islam is built on 5. So we got to be able to establish the 5. We got to be able to establish the 5. So that's what we're doing, inshallah. Let us know the importance of the life that we live in. So it says, again, you shall see it with certainty of sight. Then shall you be questioned that day about the joy that you indulged in. So Allah, He's going to question about the things that we find enjoyable. The Georgia Bulldogs, they lost last week. And for me, I didn't even care because I'm not from Georgia. But some people, they're big football fans. They big fans. And some people are big fans of the Falcons. And last year they lost the Super Bowl. But everybody that's a Falcon fan, they said, man, we might have another chance this year. We might see them. Wouldn't that be something to go back to back? They lost one and they come back and win this one. For a football fan, they say, oh man, what a remarkable thing. And we had other things. Some of us, we enjoy music. We enjoy this. We enjoy looking at TV. We enjoy the Housewives of Atlanta. We enjoy Empire. Filthy show. Because most of the shows on TV promote homosexuality in some kind of way. And most of the shows on TV, most of the things that we get on TV is decadent. And we find ourselves sitting there watching it and we go to sleep on it. But this is what Imam Muhammad said about the present the culture that we live in now. And they call this culture the culture of death. Consequently, we should suspect this pop culture that is used by those who want to keep people down that are not up. Not only black people, all people. So they do not have to share with too many. There's only so much to go around at any given time. So they want to make sure that there's a lot for those they want to help and a little of nothing for those who they do not care about. Now I didn't want to stop here. I'm going to read this, and this is from, this is called Racism, Religion, and Reconciliation, Contemplation of Imam W.D. Muhammad, edited by Imam Ronald Shaheed. And we are thankful that Allah has blessed some of the students of Imam Muhammad to constantly put his thinking out and his tafsir, because he's our shaykh. Everybody got this shit, but there's no problem. Now I want to make a point about it. I was just watching the news, and unfortunately, they're closing Sam's Club all around the country. They're closing Sam's Club all around the country. They're going to close Sam's Club. And Sam Club is owned by Walmart. And we know how we all just love Walmart. But they closed some of the Sam Clubs last night. Some of the employees didn't even know they was going to be losing a job today. So what does that tell you? That we had to build our own community, right? And we know that the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, that he was one of the ones among our group of people that established due for self and kind. We need to return to that. Because one day suppose they close down all the Krogers, all the Publix, and all the Walmarts tomorrow. Where you gonna get your food from? That's something to think about. I'm sure that's really something to think about. So again, it said, and then it goes on to say, it says, and they do not care about those who they do not consider enlightened in their idea of what enlightened means. If you are not enlightened in their idea of what enlightened means, they do not consider you to even be a true human. They consider you to be animals in human bodies. They can give you this world of the culture of death and keep you in check, keep you occupied, so your real rational life will not bother you and will not demand that you do more with your life in a real, rational, and material world. So by being suspicious of this entertainment life that we have called the popular culture, we will discover that this world is the greatest promoter of behavior, extremism, and deviant behavior. That is what we call sick behavior, or going away from the progressive line in the life of people for their development as human beings or as life. Certainly, we can do bad things, get an idea in our minds to do bad things, but Allah did not create us to do bad things. He created us to be free, to make free choices, to choose between good and bad. And at the same time, we have to realize that Allah gave us a soul and a spirit and a desire in the soul and in that spirit to always make improvements in our life to do better. Now, You know how y'all know I'm kind of like an interactive, right? I'm an interactive man. So I just want to read this. Now the brother he just said talk a bit, but I gotta whoever did that, alhamdulillah. But I gotta read this too because I'm let me just read this, and then I'm gonna go back to my point. There's a great deal of reward in attending Salatul Jumu'ah in the proper manner. Abu Huraira narrated the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "Whoever makes ablution and excels in performing ablution, then goes to the masjid and listens and remains quiet, then forgiveness for him will be for whatever he did of his minor sins from the Friday previous, plus an additional 3 days." So as a person who gives talks, it does make you feel good when people feeling you. But that's not the etiquette of Jumu'ah. I have to just tell you that. So we know that as Muslims, we can't fall into church culture. In church culture, there's an amen culture. There's an amen culture in church culture. And we see the result of church mentality. Let me read this for you too. It says, narrated by Abu Huraira, radiyallahu anhu. Allah's Messenger sallallahu alayhi wasallam said, when the Imam is delivering the khutbah and you ask your companion to keep quiet and listen, then no doubt you have done a lagwa, an evil act or sin. So even if you ask somebody else to be quiet, you've done evil. So why am I telling you this? Because brothers, we have to get out of it. And we know sometimes, especially with crazy people like me and other man, we say some stuff that's sometimes funny. Sometimes it's funny. And sometimes it hits your spirit and make you want to yell out. But there's a reason why the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said that we should remain quiet. So I had to tell y'all that. And I had to tell y'all that as brothers that there's a certain decorum that we have to have as Muslims so that we don't become like everybody else. Because we go different places and people say, Allahu Akbar, go teach, buddy, man. Amen, amen. But then we see the community is in shambles. Look at our community. Right now, brothers and sisters, our community is suffering. Our community is suffering economically. Our community is suffering socially. And our community is suffering culturally. Our children are going to hell. And some of the reasons why they might be going to hell is because we're not standing up and letting them know just how they should be. Many of people in our community, there used to be a time when people knew us as Muslims because we had a certain diet. We lived a certain way. But now we have hypertension, obesity, diabetes in our community just like everybody else. Our divorce rate in our community is just like everybody else. We have people suffering in our communities from alcoholism, smoking cigarettes, adultery, fornication, just like everybody else. We have people in our community that's hooked on pornography, just like everybody else. And the reason why is because we have not established community of life like it was established during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Brothers, do you know that most of our prayers should be in the masjid, like a brother reminded me last week at the United Sunday? And fortunately for us here in this masjid, our Imam Furqan, he has established the 5 daily salats, along with other brothers who be with him praying most of the time. So really, our salat is supposed to be in the masjid. And when we establish the religion, like it's supposed to be established during the time of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and then we will see the results of our works. But again, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, "The Buni al-Islam ala khamsin," that the religion of Islam is built on 5. So when we to establish the basic pillars in our religion, which is the salat, right? After shahada is salat, and we can make up all the excuses that we want. But because and we are fortunate to live in this area in Atlanta because we have so many masjids. We have many masjids in Atlanta. So maybe you can, if you come here, if you consider this your masjid, maybe you can't get here all the time. But you can get somewhere, brothers. And I'm talking to my own self too. I'm talking to my own self. Because Allah tells us in the Quran that you have to be a witness for truth, even if it's against your own self, against your own family, against rich or poor. So as men, your salat really should be made in the masjid. And suppose you live far, far away, then you have to do the best you can. But for us here in Atlanta, we have so many masjids. And I was reflecting one day, I was at the Masjid Mu'mineen in Clarkston, and the Imam after the Khutbah, he was appealing to the brothers because they were trying to build a masjid there. And the Imam, he said in his talk that he went to one of the businessmen. I told y'all this before, but for the sake of making this point, he said he went to a brother who he know he had money. That's why he went to him. So he said when he went to the brother to ask for a donation for the new masjid that was being built, the brother, he didn't cut him short, but he just went straight to the point. He said, "Brother Imam, I normally don't like to, it's not my position to normally donate money to masjids, because everybody's building masjids today." He said, I prefer to donate money to Islamic schools, places trying to educate people, for the children and everything. He said, but I'm going to write you a check. He said, because you all are known to have the long prayer lines. And in Clarkston at Masjid Mu'mineen, their prayer line is deep. As Fajr, they got these many brothers. Almost 5 times a day, they got this many. Matter of fact, they got more brothers than this at Fajr. So he said, because y'all prayer line is known to be so deep, y'all known for that. That's why he closet. He said, here's a check. The man looked at the check, and the check was for $95,000. Because they're known to have their salat lines long. They're known to have their salat. So let's ask ourselves, how many of us brothers, and I'm talking to myself too, and I'm imagining that Dawud is sitting over there between the brother with the hat and the brother with the dreads. I'm imagining myself, Dawud Mahdi, not Imam Dawud, because Imam Dawud was right here. But I'm imagining Dawud's Mahdi is sitting right there. So Dawud, how many prayers are you making at the masjid every day? Answer me, brother. Not doing Jumuah. Just give me an answer. Okay, that's good. You gonna try? Alhamdulillah. I'm talking to myself. So, brothers, I'm telling you, we got to reestablish this community. And it's serious. It's so serious. Now, I want y'all to reflect. Many of you who came up in the Nation of Islam, or many of you all whose parents didn't come up in the Nation of Islam, but they were Muslims during the 60s and during the 70s. Think about some of the siblings. How many of the children of those pioneers are still practicing the religion today? Think about it. I remember when I was about 15, 16 years old, I was at McKinley Tech High School in Washington, D.C. And I remember when they closed the Nation of Islam, University of Islam in Washington, D.C. And I remember those nice girls that came. I remember. And I remember I lost them, a lot of them, when they left the nation, they lost their virginity at McKinley Tech High School. Because them brothers was ready to eat them up. Them pretty girls that been living that clean life, them brothers ate them up, ate them alive, and then they talked about it. Because they left their environment. How many of our girls have been eaten alive by the wolf in the general society? Because we haven't protected them. How many of our sons are out there now causing trouble that we raised as Muslims, and now they're doing time in the penitentiary, in the federal penitentiary, with the name of the first and last name Islamic name, not because they changed it, because they were born that name. See, it's a wake up. It's a wake up call, brothers and sisters. We are at war. We are at a cultural war against this decadent, deviant society that's promoted by all this foolishness on TV, radio, the movies, Facebook, Twitter, Every single way. We at war, brothers and sisters. We are at war. All believing people who believe in Almighty God, today we are not just the Muslims, the sincere Christians, the sincere Jews, and the sincere people who don't go by any name in particular, but they believe in God in the last day. We are at war. It's time for us to wake up. It's time for us to wake up. And it's time for us to reestablish the community life that is built upon the 5 principles of Islam, which is number 1, after La ilaha illallah, is the salat. Then there's the zakat. It's ration. You pray, and then you got to have something to give. But in order to get something, you got to work. We are not to sit idly by on our hands. There's many sisters in our community right now that need help. And I know this is a subject that sometimes people get, ooh, some of these sisters need help. So, brother, we need to marry these women. But we got to establish ourselves where we can marry a sister. And if you get really established, maybe you can marry more than one. Free sabilillah for the pleasure of Allah. That's a reality. The majority of women in our community, this urban community that we live in, the majority of them have absentee fathers. They're having babies, but no fathers. So you might be able to save one of them, or save 2. Because you might marry a sister and save a whole tribe. But this is how serious it is. We got to get to this thing. And Islam, our religion, has the answer for everything. It has the answer for everything. So I'm encouraging all of us to reestablish, ask yourself about the 5 pillars and see how you're measuring up. We already said that the best salat for the brothers is in the masjid, as much as you can. And we know sometimes we have jobs that doesn't allow us to do that. But at least if you're making an effort, say if you work 5 days a week, come Saturday, Sunday, I'm making my salat in the masjid. Allah is so merciful. Allah is so merciful that He knows what situation that we're in. He knows we're in America. He knows we got to work these jobs. He knows we got to get the children to school in the morning. Allah is most merciful. Allah is so merciful. We learned from Prophet Muhammad. He said that Allah is so merciful that if there was a people who didn't sin, Allah will move them out of the way, create a people who would sin just so He could forgive them. Because He's most merciful. Allah is so merciful that whatever you're doing wrong, all you got to do is say, Allah, I'm so sorry. I'm so grateful that you made me Muslim. I'm going to turn my life around today. I'm going to stop the pornography. I'm going to stop going to the club. I know I got these tattoos that I got, but oh Allah, forgive me for the tattoos. Forgive me for going out partying and all that. Oh Allah, forgive me for smoking cigarettes. Oh Allah, forgive me for fornicating. Oh Allah, forgive me for doing all the wrong that the human being, because Allah says in the Quran that He knows what dark suggestions make to the soul of the human being. Allah knows that we live in this environment. But Allah is so merciful. Allah is so merciful. Allah is so merciful. You can't imagine how merciful Allah is. Allah is so merciful. He said that He saved 99% of His mercy for the believers on the day of judgment. That's so merciful for the believers. But in this life, Allah is so merciful. All you got to do is turn to Allah. So brothers and sisters, let's rebuild community life by repenting as a community that we have turned our back on this great blessing that He has given us in our Islam. Let's return to the practice of just the 5 pillars. I ain't talking about no fit. I ain't talking about that. I ain't talking about trying to do everything in the Sunnah. I ain't even talking about that. I'm talking about just let's re-establish the 5 pillars in your life. Allah says in the Quran, Ya ayyuhalladina amanu qu anfusakum wa ahlikum. O you who believe, save yourself, anfusakum wa ahlikum, and your family. We need to reestablish this. Brothers and sisters, we need to reestablish our Muslim dress. We need to reestablish about being neat and clean. We need to reestablish that in our life. We need to reestablish come to the Jumu'ah on Friday dressed in your best. And I'm not talking about anybody in here. But we should come to Jumu'ah dressed in our best because we're trying to please Allah. Allah says through Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, He said that He loved to see the believers in new clothes and fine things. But then it says, but wearing old clothes is part of the faith. Isn't that beautiful? The Lord loves to see us dressed up. And the Lord says in the Quran to wear your beautiful apparel at every time and place of prayer. So we need to reestablish the mind. And sisters, y'all got to do this for the sisters. You all have to take the lead with the sisters. You got to remind these sisters that love wearing these jeans and love showing their behind. Say, sister, that's not the way. I know we live in this pop culture now. They're taking you away from what we're supposed to. But y'all have to reestablish that among the sisters. It shouldn't be. It shouldn't be a brother saying to a sister, "Man, look at that sister over there." Because you're not a brother, they're gonna look right. I mean, that's what brothers do. I'm just being frank with you. Brothers love sisters. White sisters, black sisters, Chinese sisters, Indian sisters. Brothers just love sisters. Who said that? Allah says that in the Quran. Allah says in the Quran, fair in the eyes of men are the things they covet, the things they love. What's the number one thing at the top of the list? Women. That's at the top of the list. And who gonna deny that? You can be an old man, 90 years old. Make your way to the masjid, barely can see. Wow! That'll make a man stand up. That's the nature of it. And he just get one look. Not that he was looking, but he just noticed. Because he's trying to lower, even the old man trying to lower his game. Even lower in the process of, whoa, that'll wake a man up. That's how men are. That's the reality. But sister, you have to take that job on. So take that job on to bring our sisters back to wearing the hijab so we can reestablish communities like Allah. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله صلى الله عليه وسلم. We're going to read a few more of these things from this book, and because I think these things are very, very important. And I'm also remembering that everything I'm saying to y'all. I didn't already talk to Dawud about this. I don't already talk to Dawud about this. Because sometimes you got to have a conversation with yourself. So let's have that conversation with ourselves, with Antusukum, your own self, your own soul. And that verse, it says, "Yeah, you have amanu ku Antusukum." The word "ku," it comes from the same word as walk off. From the root of the same word, it means taqwa. It has this sacred regard, right? Allah tells us that we have to have taqwa for Allah. And Allah says in the Quran, have taqwa for the fire, have regard for the fire, because the fire is real. The fire is real. There's no ambiguity in the meaning of the fire. The fire, hellfire, is very, very real. It's real. Now imagine your children, or somebody's children, your neighbor's children. You get up early in the morning and you see somebody's house on fire. And you know that in that house they have children. Or even in your own house, you get up and you smell smoke. And you got a whole bunch of children like I got in the house. You kicking down doors. Get up! There's a fire in the house. But that's the way we really got to do for our children when it's time to make salat. We got to save them from the fire. And our job is not to be our children's friend. Our job is to be their parent. And friendship is earned. Just like Allah is our Rabb. He is our Lord and Creator. Allah created us. But we don't just get to be Allah's friend, but we're going to always be Allah's slave. Friendship of Allah has to be earned. And as parents, we have to be friends with our children, and our children should be friends with us. But that's a situation you cultivate after years and years and years. I'm happy to the fact right now that now I'm almost 60 years old, I got adult children. And I can call on him an adult conversation about things. They be sending me stuff about Islam, and I be sending them stuff about Islam. And that's remarkable. I got grandchildren now. A couple of them. I'm saying, wow. See, like just yesterday, I took my shahada, and I was trying to find out about not being a vegetarian no more. When I became Muslim, I was a vegetarian till I met Ramadan. And the sister at the masjid said, "Boy, you gonna spill up if you don't eat some of this good chicken I done cooked." So I've been eating chicken ever since. But I mean, that's just it. But it just seemed like that was just yesterday. It's like just yesterday, I went to take my shahada, and I was looking for the imam to embrace me. "Oh, brother, you here with us? Come here." And he said, "Oh yeah, go over there and sign your name to the sister in the secretary's office." I said, "What? Come on, man, you ain't ready to hug me or nothing like that?" I feel kind of bad, but I came back. I've been here ever since. But that seemed like yesterday. Now time just seems like it just go by fast. It seems like now we come up on Ramadan again. Ramadan seems like just ended. Man, time is, when you get older, it's just like, wow. What's it going to be like if Allah bless me be 90? It's just going to go like that. So I want to read this. So we're going to finish in a few minutes. We had hoped to have Imam Qasim today, but his flight got jammed up because of the weather. So now we got Dawud. Christ Jesus, according to the gospel, also is to be identified as the second Adam. The gospel gives the genealogy of Jesus Christ and traces his existence back to God. It mentions his mother and Joseph, peace be upon them, and goes back through the lineage. Finally, it says, "Who is the son of Adam?" Jesus is traced back to the son of Adam, and he is the second Adam, according to Christian theology or Christianity, whose father was Adam. And it says that Adam was created by God. That is what the Bible says, not what I say. This Adam, then, is a type that includes all of us. All of us are descendants of Adam, according to the Bible and the Quran. Adam was tempted and deceived to come out of his dress that God put him in. The Quran says, "Do not let Shaitan deceive you," speaking to us, "to come out of your dress, as he did your father and your mother in the garden." And it does not leave us to wonder about that dress. It says the dress is the dress of righteousness. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that his main job was to put black people in new dress. He said, "My job is to dress you up." The culture of the people is their dress. The spirit and the intellect and the heart are all supposed to work together to develop a comfortable home for us on this earth. Let me read that again. The spirit, the intellect, the heart are all supposed to work together to develop a comfortable home for us on this earth. And we live more significantly in our culture than we do in our physical clothing or in the frame houses and brick houses that we live in. So that says that that culture, our culture, everybody got their culture, right? Everybody has a culture. And as I'm looking out, especially at the sisters, if I was to start looking at the different dresses, and I say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I probably would go through all of the sisters because all the sisters got their way of dressing. They all got their own little style. But alhamdulillah, it's all modest. So everybody got their culture. He said that we live more in our culture than we do in our physical houses. Those things are important to us, but they do not change our lives if we get a different form or for our housing or our clothing, unless we let it. As long as we stay rooted and grounded in our healthy our culture protects and feeds us. So our culture should protect us, right? Our culture should give us life. Our culture has to give us life. So we have to reestablish a Muslim culture. We have to reestablish a moral life. We have to reestablish that. And when I say we, I mean all of us as Muslims. Because all of us as Muslims, we should have the same culture. We should have the same flavor, even though it tastes a little bit different. The way the Somalians make curry chicken is different from the way people in Ethiopia make curry chicken. And Ethiopian curry chicken tastes different from African American curry chicken. And Thai curry chicken tastes different from Somalian chicken. And they got so many different kinds of curry chicken. But it's all curry chicken. But just have a little, just a little different, just a little bit different. You have a little different. The spice is just a little. Somebody be and then Indian curry chicken, depending on where you like it, whether it's hot curry or mild curry or light curry, it's still curry. So we as Muslims, we should have the same Muslim culture. But it varies different ways. But we know that when you taste some curry chicken, you know that's curry. You might not know what curry that is, but you know that's curry. And I like all curry chicken. So we have to reflect, brothers and sisters, that we have a job to establish the Muslim life. And alhamdulillah, here at Masjid Mu'minun, this coming Sunday, we're going to have a meeting to let us know with all our developments for the property that we have down the street. And that's all about establishing the Muslim life. And I want to invite all of you out the first Sunday in February, right here at Masjid Mu'minun, to come out to our United Sunday. We're trying to reestablish the United Sunday so we can reestablish a good relationship between all the Muslims here in Georgia. So bring a dish and bring your family out. We're going to try to make it festive. And we're going to try to include our youth, because we can't leave our youth out. Our youth are precious to us. Whether they're young youth, under the age of 10, and babies, or the teenage youth, they're precious. And some of our young youth that's under 40 years old, y'all are precious. And we're looking for y'all to take the banner over. So we have to reestablish our community, inshallah. So we want to invite you all out. Many of our meeting on Sunday. And we want to invite you out to the next United Sunday at 1 o'clock, which is the first Sunday in February. Invite y'all to come out. And let's mingle and let's bring our community, but let's build our community back up. And I'm going to finish reading this and then I'm going to close. We got 7 minutes. Culture should be influenced by morals and ethics. So in the Christian world, the culture should be influenced by the spirit of the gospel. The culture should be influenced by the morals and ethics of the gospel. In a Muslim society, the culture of Muslims should be influenced by the spirit of the Quran and Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the spirit of Al-Islam. And it should be fed by the morals and ethics of the Quran, the teachings and the life of Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the prophet. If we have that, then we have salvation for our lives. If we do not have that, then all we can have is struggle with a sincere will in us to obey God and be the best decent human being we can be. So, brothers and sisters, as we conclude, we have to establish everything that we have in our life. It has to be influenced by the Quran. And if it doesn't pass the test of the Quran, we need to throw it out. That includes Facebook. Not that Facebook is bad, because Facebook used to be good. That includes Twitter. That includes Kik. That includes Instagram. That includes the television. That includes the movies. That includes all of the things that we are attracted to. But if these things, that includes our dress. If these things are not influenced by the Quran and by the life example of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the most excellent human being created, that's Muhammad the Prophet. The most excellent human being created, Allah gave him to us, a mortal human being who was so excellent. And I say this to you brothers. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he was so excellent that they described his character as being that of a virgin maiden. That's how modest Prophet Muhammad was. He didn't stare at women like some of us. And the Prophet is reported to have said that when you have lust for women, you constantly looking at women, and this society is hard. I'm saying to you as a man who has almost 12 children, married all my adult life, making 5 prayers a day, Been to the Hajj in Mecca twice, and it's still hard. I'm just being real. Might not be hard, but we have to lower our gaze, because the prophet said that if you look lustfully at women, it take away from the light in your face. It take away from the handsomeness in your face. These are real things. So we have to maintain modesty. Brothers, we need to work on getting at least one wife and trying to keep her happy. These women that we married that are Muslim, they are the female servants of Allah. We got to treat them better. I'm talking to my own self too. And I get a lot of help from my wife. I'm thankful to Allah. Thankful to Allah that I got a Muslim woman. This is the second one. Inshallah, I'll die with this one. Inshallah. I'm telling you, serious, man. Serious, brother. We gotta step up to the plate. We gotta step up to the plate. We gotta step up to the plate. We have to step up to the plate. We got to step up to the plate. We got to step up to the plate. We gotta step up to the plate. We gotta try to be like Muhammad the Prophet, both the males and the females. We gotta get back to it, brothers. It's critical. And when you examine our community, you see just how critical it is. It's critical. This life is dependent upon us taking the message further. But notice that Allah says in the Quran that if we don't do that, that He will move us out the way and create a people who will. Because if we don't do it, Allah got somebody who will do it. That's the promise of Allah. And Allah says in the Quran as we close, He says, "Cause after have mu'minun," that the believers must already have done, went through. The believers must went through. All we gotta do is qualify ourselves as being believers, and we are guaranteed success. That's not inshallah, that's mashallah. Because Allah already said it. It's done. It's not that if it's going to happen, it's going to happen. Like the day of judgment is coming. Not inshallah. Allah said it's coming. That is the will of Allah. There's no, you don't have to even think about whether that's going to happen. No, Allah says it's coming. We all going in the grave. We don't know when, by the grace of Allah, but that's going to happen. It's going to happen. That's the will of Allah. Whether you die a Muslim, or whether you die a disbeliever, or whether you die a believer, is all in your own hands, in my own hands. So let's think about this, and let us make an effort. Again, brothers, this is the last thing I want you to take home with you today, inshallah. That we have to establish the salat. Establish the salat. Establish the salat. Not just at home, but in the masjid. And then we'll see the community come up. But we gotta establish it. We gotta work to do it. We gotta get it done. Let's get on the ball, inshallah. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. ربنا لا تزغ قلوبنا بعد إذ هديتنا وهب من لدنك رحمة إنك أنت الوهاب. Oh Allah, bless us with good in this world. Bless us with the excellence of this world and the excellence of the afterlife, and save us from the torment of the fire. Our Lord, let not our hearts deviate after you have guided us aright. For sure, you are the granter of bounty without measure. Inna salati wa nusuki wa mahyaya wa mamati lillahi rabbil alameen. Surely my service and sacrifice, my life, my death is all for Allah, the Lord of all the worlds. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Ameen. Qamat as-salat.
Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Ashhadu anna Muhammadan Rasulullah. Hayya ala salat, hayya ala salat, and come to salat. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. La ilaha illallah.
Let's make our lines perfectly straight, inshallah. And let us try to concentrate in our prayers so we can get the benefit of the salat. Let's get the benefit of our salat by concentrating in our prayers, making our roads straight. And brothers and sisters, we're asking that you make dua for our community. When I say our community, I'm talking about the whole community of the Muslims throughout the world and those who are suffering. And make dua for all the believers. Allahu Akbar. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألهاكم التكاثر حتى زرتم المقابر كلا سوف تعلمون ثم كلا سوف تعلمون كلا لو تعلمون علم اليقين لترون الجحيم ثم لترونها عين اليقين ثم لا تسألون يومئذ عن النعيم. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أرأيت الذي يكذب بالدين فذلك الذي يدعو اليتيم ولا يحض على طعام المسكين فويل للمصلين الذين هم عن صلاتهم ساهون الذين هم يراءون ويمنعون المعون. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. الله أكبر. سمع الله لمن حمده. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. الله أكبر. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Brothers, could y'all just hold up for 1 second? Now, we know we talked about making our salat at the masjid. How many of y'all want to meet here tomorrow morning to make salat? Inshallah, we call it comment. It's right around about 6:40, right? Yeah. So, the comment. So we call it comment about 6:40. So anybody, brothers, let's make a commitment. We have to start. We have to step up to the plate. So inshallah, I'm gonna be here tomorrow because some brothers they already pray here just about every day. So if anybody else will make a commitment to be here tomorrow morning, inshallah. Allahu Akbar. Alhamdulillah. Anybody else, brothers? Okay, inshallah, we'll be here. Alhamdulillah. Let's try to make this not here, brothers. Assalamu
Assalamu alaikum. Imam Kazim Ahmed will be here tomorrow and Sunday. We'll conduct a 2-day intensive workshop. Tomorrow will be from 10 to 4. Sunday will be from 2 to 5. The cost will be $10 per day. It's a unique approach to the study of the 10 forms of the Arabic verb and human development. I got a call from Imam Furkan yesterday in regard to an invitation that we have gotten from the folklore. On January 28th, Masjid al-Muqminun has been invited to an affair with the folklore. I'm not sure, he was not able to give me the details because I was driving, but that information is forthcoming. But they would love for us to spend some time with them. It's on the 28th of this month. That's on a Sunday. Sunday is our community business meeting, be the first one for the year. And we want to invite all the members of this community, particularly because of our developer who will be here to share information about the plans for the building, well, not on the building, but on building on the property on the corner. I also want to bring your attention to the fact that we've got an elder in our community who's transitioning. I'm looking at the faces. I don't know, Sister Daia, you might remember Sister Carolyn. She was here back in the Nation of Islam days when the Imam took over leadership. She was the only sister minister that we had. I got a call from her granddaughter this morning. She's transitioning. She's in the hospital. We're asking for du'as for her. She's been a member of our community since, I think, the 50s, she and her family. Project Smile, Sunday classes, 11:30 to 3:30, breakfast from 9:30 to 2 on Sunday. The Dawud team will meet on Thursday here at the Masjid at 5:30 to discuss our trip to DC. See Brother Akbar or Brother Thomas for more information. At least 20 brothers are needed to attend a presentation by the Clark Atlanta University Prostate Cancer Initiative. $20 will be given to each participant for the completion of the 1-hour presentation that will occur on a Saturday morning sometime soon. For further information, please contact Brother Anis Fardan. Fourth Sunday presentation, Talim at the Masjid, will be conducted by Khadijah Ford of Ritual Purity LLC. Cleaning and organization is a form of zakat. That's the topic that we should all make a special effort to attend to support the knowledge building that occurs during these hours. The Health and Wellness Committee continues to seek support in its efforts to serve those of us in need. At present, we are asking for 5 volunteers to help with our social media, phone tree, community communications. If you have any experience with this, please contact Brother Anis Fardan. Assalamu alaikum.